Hey YouTube, this is Untitled Prepper 1. I want to do a video. It's a beautiful day here. It's low 60s, the sun is just beating down. I'm trying to take cover behind this bush. Need my sunglasses, but I got to do some reading. I want to talk about the scenario video. I enjoy doing them. Now with my son, and my wife's actually going to get involved a little bit, so we have another person, so we have more conversations and different conversations. But I want to go over the comments because I do a lot of things in the scenario videos that I will not be doing in real life, but because of the training of atmosphere and just sort of the entertainment value, I do things. Plus, it's very hard with one person and then my son to really do it properly. You know, you have more people, you could do it better and make it more technically correct. But I'm gonna go over the comments. I love the comments and you guys are thinking. All right, first is community. When I talk about community, it's the community about 5 miles in all directions of me. That is my community. My prepper community is all those people that live inside that bubble that are preppers. And then you have my prepper group. These are people that I have worked out plans, agreements, we've worked together. So people in my prepping community could be preppers, but we don't do a lot of things comparing notes in the sense of, if this happens, we're gonna do this. My retreat group is my house, my location here. Who's gonna come? I never tell you how many people are coming, but people are coming. And it's a blessing because the people that are coming are crazy preppers like me. So they're putting back, they're preparing, they're doing their fair share. And all I am doing is having a place for them to come. And it's so beneficiary to me because we have more people here. More people mean better security, more resources, and more brain power. The more people we can gather. So you have to understand that. That will help you. When I talk about community, it's not just right here, it's everywhere. This is my community. I live in a more tight community than most people because we're living in the country. And it's a well-established area in the sense houses and properties don't come up for sale a lot. So people, generations, have lived here since the Civil War. So it's easy to know people that way. Using the radio. In real world, we wouldn't touch that radio. You wouldn't push that button. The only way you'd push that button if it was tactically to save a life. It was necessity of getting help. We're gonna listen. 99.9% of that time that radio is listening, gathering information, and people are writing it down. It's too easy. So easy to do directional antennas and directional findings. So you think you're safe, you're talking. So let me urge you, if you see me in a scenario video talking on a radio, in real world, I'm not gonna be doing it. I guarantee you better not do it either because you're gonna get found. I was using an FRS radio. The reason is I was using it on low power because I didn't want to be putting that information I did on the video because someone could be hearing it 10 miles away and be like, what is going on? What's happening? And then start to get worried or excited. So that's why we use that. I use field phones. Field phones take a piece of wire and you connect all the field phones. That is my plan for my house. That's the plan for my neighbors, so I can connect field phones with neighbors. Yeah, that's given a little bit of opposite away, but it's at the point where I think it's so important, look into field phones, because when I pick up that field phone, ring it, it's ringing at multiple places. I can communicate with no fear of it going over the airwaves. Now, someone would have to come in there, cut my wire, put their field phone in, have a field phone, put it in, and listen. Some comments. Jamie said, talked about prevention, like Kevlar gloves, snake boots, and he's 100% right. Prevention is what you have to do. Even now we have the doctors, but if you can prevent an accident, an injury, do it. In a grid down situation, you have to prevent it. There's nowhere to go. You have very limited medical resources. Bev says, isn't giving personal information like kids and wife present a risk? Others could overhear this and get your location. Definitely. When you're on a radio in a real world SHTF grid event, don't even talk on the radio. But if you do, things need to be brief. You're going to have brevity words. You're going to have words that mean things, so people cannot understand where you are, what you're doing, what you have. The limited use of your radio. A lot of people out there that might have a radio might be just talking away, and that's an opportunity to gather intel, not to go and hurt them, but to gather intel so you can provide a better security for yourself and your community. Tommy said, walkie-talkies need a headset to keep your hands free and keep your sound location down. Totally agree. If you're operating where other people are, you want to have a little earpiece in your radio. 99.9% of radios, very easy to get one, buy it off Amazon, and you can be able to listen. Very important to have hands-free. The only biggest problem is that cord. You got to route it in your gear. You can tape it down. You don't want it just flapping, so when you go through something it gets stuck. But yes, if you're in an area, don't let anyone hear your communication. Jack said, you're using that little radio, it's a handheld, so they can't be too far away because our repeater's SHT proof. So correct. If you have a little radio, it doesn't put a lot of power, a lot of watts. So normally we would use a repeater. Repeaters are set up so they'll grab my signal. So if my little radio is putting out 5 watts, it will grab my signal and just throw it out with maybe 50 watts. So it can go further. But in an SHTF vent, will those repeaters be up? I know people that have the ability to put their own repeater up. I know people that have their own repeater up. So some might and some won't be up. How long do they have a battery backup at that site? 3 days of power, and then if someone doesn't physically intervene, will that repeater be down? Probably. So that is true. Now, where those people went, I could probably talk to them if I could hit a repeater with that little radio. If you want to hit them with a 50 watt, remember that 50 watt is just blasting everywhere, and everyone's hearing your business, so it's not good to use. Kathy said, she pointed out people that sew, quilters, knitters, you know, it's an art and it requires no power. Plus, that ability to make things. You might need, you might realize, you know, that 7-year-old kid that's at your retreat has only a few pair of pants. He has none for the next size up. So yes, that person is going to become very important to sew some pants for that young growing boy. But the thing gets back, you got to have patterns, you have to have thread, you have to have material. So you need to think about stocking as much as you need. Mandy said, you might be honest, but the world is not. Very true. Very true. Am I going to be going out there looking for medical people? No, probably not. What I'll be doing is I have medical people already, not as many as I would like, but I know the medical people in the community. Now that's the big community. So who am I going to recruit first? A guy walking down the road with a family, or a person that's already established in the community that is known, that is a decent person? Easier to recruit that person to help in our community than some perfectly stranger, because I don't know that person. So a lot of things I do is for sort of entertainment purpose, or to get us talking like we're doing now. Someone coming into my retreat, my actual physical retreat, problem is not going to happen. I will help you maybe with the help of the community. If we find a doctor, maybe we can put them up in a barn, a shed, and say, all right, you're going to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week or whatever, and you're going to be our doctor, and in return we're going to give you a little bit of food, we're going to give you a place to grow a garden, and that will be worked out. So yeah, to get out of my retreat in a grid down situation, first of all, you probably have to travel over half a mile on private property where we can stop you at that point. So I'm going to stop people far out. If they come to my gate here, they've violated a million no trespassing signs. At that point, there'll be heavier duty gates put up. They've already done a lot of craziness to get to my front gate. They just didn't happen to walk there. Smokey you, yes. If you lose someone every 12 hours, I'm picking a different community, just saying, because we had 3 people die within 36 hours. And they're going to die at a heavy rate. People that are on dialysis, people that need oxygen, people that need medication, people that are just old and have heart problems. These people will die. Am I going to be so inclined to help everyone in my community? No, I have limited amount of resources. So I can't help everyone. I have an oxygen concentrator. I'm not going to take my oxygen concentrator and take it off the retreat property to help some 77-year-old man that needs oxygen. I can't do that. I have a first responsibility to my family, and so that piece of equipment is going to stay here. Or if my close relative somewhere else needs it very close, maybe I will let them have it. But I've told all my close relatives, this is what you need. This is what you need to buy. You need these medical pieces of equipment. Buy them. Mine is concentrated right here on this piece of property. To use that oxygen concentrator, you will need some solar. You'll need something. You can rely on generators for a very limited amount of time, but that gasoline is going to be gone, so solar is your best bet. Dan of the Wild mentioning his skills on the radio. Is that smart? Definitely not. Giving any information out there unless you have a disinformation plan that's already worked out. Try not to give anything out. But every time you have a disinformation plan and you push the button, people are locating that. If I had to put out something, I might actually walk 2-3 miles away through the woods and use my radio, then walk back. That would be worth that extra little trip out there and back to confuse someone. So tomorrow I'm hoping to do another scenario video. We'll see if the weather's good. It's supposed to be. Just to keep going with this theme, just to get you thinking, get you prepared. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Thanks for watching.